This week, I have a few fantasy waiver wire names that you should be paying close attention to as we move forward through this fantasy football season. Now, this season has been riddled with injuries to key players, and we added at least 2 more season-ending injuries to that long list of top fantasy players this season with Brandon Aiyuk and now Chris Godwin, who was injured during Monday Night Football. So today, I want to give you a few names to focus on this week as you eye the waiver wire, 2 players that you should be targeting and 1 stashable name that you should be going after and that you should try to hang on to for later on down the road as the fantasy football playoffs approach. But before we get started, I do want to remind you to please check out our website, footballscout365.com, where you can find all of our written fantasy football analysis, all of our NFL draft content, and a lot more. That is all on our website, footballscout365.com. Now, the big injury this week is to 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. This is big for a lot of reasons. And for me personally, I have a few shares of Deebo Samuel. I also have a couple of shares of George Kittle as well. But Deebo Samuel, he's battling an ongoing illness, apparently, that also includes pneumonia that he was in the hospital to treat. So I really don't know what's going to happen there, how long that's going to take. So it doesn't really benefit you in the short term with Deebo Samuel unless he miraculously recovers this week and he's ready to go for week 8. So you might, need another week, maybe even 2 weeks to wait on Deebo Samuel to play a bigger role or an even bigger role as he already has in this San Francisco 49ers offense when he's actually healthy. But the player that you should be focusing on, a guy that should be receiving the lion's share of targets that are going to be available, especially in week 8 in this injury-riddled 49ers offense, and that is going to be Jauan Jennings. Now, most people, they're going to get hyped up about the return of Ricky Pearsall, as a lot of people were a week ago. Pearsall did play last week after missing the early half of this season due to being shot prior to the actual start of the 2024 NFL season. Now, I am not saying that Ricky Pearsall cannot be that dude in this offense, but as of right now, I want to try to save you from picking the wrong player this week and moving forward this season, at least as it pertains to this 49ers offense. So right now, in my opinion, you need to focus your energy, your waiver wire, your fab spend, for example, on Jauan Jennings ahead of Ricky Pearsall, unless Jennings is already rostered in your fantasy football league. Now, if he's already rostered, as he is in most of my fantasy football leagues, at least in the 14-team leagues that I'm in, you can go ahead and target Ricky Pearsall if he is available as more of a stashable play rather than that high volume option that you're going to need to depend on right away, especially if you're replacing a receiver like I am in a deeper league like Nico Collins, who I have no idea when he's going to return. Jauan Jennings would be a fabulous or fantastic addition to kind of replace some of that fantasy football production that you are losing currently. Now, statistically speaking, Jennings, he's already posted 400 yards as a receiver and 3 touchdowns this year. He's being targeted when he's healthy pretty consistently. He did miss this past week with a late week hip issue, but he is expected to return in week 8. He's being targeted around 28%, and he is ranked 9th in EPA per target this season. Those are really good numbers, and he is going to continue to be a major part of this 49ers offense. And he was at times, even with Deebo Samuel and Brandon Aiyuk healthy and in the lineup in previous weeks. So that's the player that I want you to focus on initially, especially if you need wide receiver help. Okay, so the next dude that you absolutely need to be targeting on waivers, and I've been really high on a lot of these handcuff running backs this season because in one of my deeper leagues, I have 2 of the most discussed stashes in fantasy football this season. I already highlighted Blake Corum last week as a stash play for down the road paired with Kyren Williams, especially if you're the Kyren Williams owner. Currently, you definitely need to have Blake Corum. He is the primary backup currently to Kyren Williams in that Rams offense. And this week, I do want to highlight Buffalo Bills rookie running back Ray Davis. Now, if you know who the Bills offensive coordinator is, it's Joe Brady. He's a Sean Payton disciple. So he understands the concept of having a Mark Ingram style player paired with an Alvin Kamara style player. And in a lot of ways, that's what we could see down the stretch in this Buffalo Bills offense as the season progresses. Now, Davis, he's being rostered in about 15% of leagues currently. That's still really, really low, meaning that he is available in most leagues. So go out there, go get him. I already have him in several leagues already. He's on my bench. And this is a dude that I absolutely believe could be a league winner for you as the season progresses towards the fantasy football playoffs. Now, in terms of the data, Davis, he did rush for 96 yards in week 6 without James Cook available on 20 rush attempts. Now, in week 7, Cook did have more rush attempts than Ray Davis with 12 attempts, only 32 yards and a very inefficient 2.2 yards per rush. He did score 1 touchdown versus Ray Davis, who posted 5 rush attempts for a far more efficient 41 yards, and he also scored a touchdown in this past game. So as I mentioned, I can absolutely see this backfield becoming more of a timeshare as this season progresses. So at the end of the day, if you are like me and you faded running back so hard that you are playing a weekly guessing game based on who you're going to put in your lineup, but you have a team like me that's 5-2 or 6-1, and you need to figure out a way to replace a key piece, Ray Davis is absolutely a guy that you have to go get off waivers. Now, a few other names that will be popular this week. You're going to hear a ton about Keon Coleman, him being paired with Amari Cooper. I like that. I like the idea that he's going to get more man-to-man opportunities throughout this season. Hunter Henry is going to be the tight end ad of the week. I think he could be the highest waivered player possibly this week. He's going to be a guy that people are going to talk about him being paired with Drake May, being targeted a lot more in this offense. Hunter Henry does have tight end 1 potential on a week-to-week basis moving forward. So definitely, if you can get Hunter Henry, if you can pick up Keon Coleman, you don't end up getting Jauan Jennings. Do not overspend. If you can get Jauan Jennings cheaper than you can get Keon Coleman, that is the play to make. People might target Ricky Pearsall ahead of Jauan Jennings in some leagues. It just depends on the build or the makeup of your league, how astute people are in your league. So try to take advantage of everything you can in that way and hold on to as much fab as you can for down the line. Okay, that's going to do it. Let me know your thoughts on Ray Davis and Jauan Jennings. Let me know if you already have them on your roster and who you might be targeting this week, if you're trying to bridge a particular injury, or maybe you have a bye week this week. Once again, I want to say thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more great content.